You believe you're building walls to protect yourself, yet every brick you lay quietly reinforces the fragility you're trying so desperately to hide. Each anxious glance toward the future, every silent rehearsal of imagined disasters, these aren't safeguarding your peace. They're eroding it, breath by quiet breath. Consider for a moment the cost of this endless vigilance. The memories you cling to, past betrayals, disappointments you've meticulously archived, they replay not to shield you, but to reaffirm fears you long to escape. We've all sat in that quiet room late at night, mind tangled in stories we've told ourselves about what could go wrong. But here lies the paradox. Your constant preparation for calamity becomes the very storm you fear. In your quest to ensure nothing hurts you again, you've become perpetually wounded by your own anticipation. When was the last time your relentless caution brought you genuine peace? When did rehearsing tomorrow's disasters grant you any clarity today? The harder you strive to prove you're safe, the more deeply you embed vulnerability into the fibers of your being. Protection born from fear is not a fortress, it's a cage. Yet, what if there's another way? A path you've overlooked, one that doesn't demand the constant sacrifice of your inner tranquility. Could true safety emerge not from controlling every outcome, but from allowing life's uncertainty to move through you without resistance? In the silence that follows your struggle, clarity waits patiently, ready to be seen. The question now is whether you'll continue to barricade yourself behind imaginary walls, or dare to meet life openly, where real strength quietly resides. Your grip on control feels comforting, doesn't it? It's a familiar touch in an unpredictable world, a known path through uncertainty. Yet, have you noticed how this very grip tightens like a quiet chain, binding you invisibly to a sense of perpetual unease? Each effort you make to secure certainty, to meticulously plan your every move, to foresee every possible misstep, deepens your unconscious dependency on a delicate illusion. Beneath the surface of your conscious intentions lies a deeper truth. Your ego seeks control as an act of self-preservation. It's a subtle mechanism, not easily noticed, rooted deeply within your unconscious mind, a quiet guardian operating silently, vigilantly. And yet, this guardian, born from past wounds and lingering anxieties, frequently pulls you back toward the very pain you hope to escape. We humans are strangely comfortable with discomfort, aren't we? Even in our distress, there's a subtle reassurance because at least our fears are familiar. Like an anchor hidden beneath calm waters, your unconscious mind steadily holds you within familiar shadows, within the known patterns, even if those patterns echo with suffering. The darkness you know somehow feels safer than the unpredictability of stepping into the light. Carl Jung spoke vividly about this shadow, the unacknowledged parts of ourselves we unconsciously project onto our reality. He saw clearly how our inner shadows quietly shape our outer world, pulling invisible strings, scripting scenarios that reinforce the very wounds we seek to avoid. When you continuously relive painful experiences, when the same fears repeatedly haunt you, it isn't misfortune at work. It's your unconscious mind, silently orchestrating these echoes, binding you to cycles of familiar pain simply because familiarity promises a false sense of control. Think about how often you've caught yourself unconsciously recreating situations that mirror your deepest anxieties. A relationship that echoes abandonment you felt before. The professional scenario subtly reinforcing your insecurities. Even the daily thoughts that confirm your hidden belief that you are never quite enough. It's not fate playing cruel games. It's your unconscious self, quietly ensuring you stay where you feel safest, even if safe means quietly suffering. Pause and ask yourself a challenging question. What are you truly protecting when you grip tightly to your sense of control? Is it your heart, your pride, your carefully crafted self-image? Or is it the delicate balance of familiarity and fear you've grown accustomed to? Could it be possible that your endless striving for certainty actually masks your deeper fear, of embracing uncertainty and the vulnerability of being authentically open. And here is another uncomfortable truth. Real peace never comes from clinging to control. Peace arises when we courageously allow life's uncertainties to unfold naturally, without constantly attempting to steer every outcome. But for this peace to emerge, you must first confront the inner shadow you've unknowingly allowed to govern your choices. You must look squarely into that silent anchor of your unconscious patterns, recognizing its quiet but powerful influence. What would happen if you finally stopped pouring energy into fears cleverly disguised as caution? What might you discover beneath the surface of your well-guarded anxieties? Imagine, just for a moment, relinquishing your incessant surveillance of the future, stepping boldly into uncertainty. Who would you become if you dared to trust life's inherent unpredictability rather than constantly seeking refuge behind imagined walls of control? Perhaps you'd uncover the startling strength in vulnerability itself, a quiet resilience not forged by endless preparation, but discovered through courageous surrender. Perhaps in releasing your grip, you'd realize that true security isn't built upon rigidly controlled outcomes, but grows softly, steadily from within. These are difficult questions, challenging truths, yet deeply necessary ones. They invite you not to a comfortable certainty, but toward authentic clarity. They urge you gently yet unmistakably to face the parts of your inner world you've skillfully avoided, the truths hidden beneath habitual caution and unconscious sabotage. There's no easy formula or step-by-step guide to freedom here, only an earnest invitation, an invitation to soften your clenched fists, to gently dismantle the subtle cage your unconscious mind has carefully constructed. It's a quiet call toward genuine self-awareness, toward recognition and release, toward authenticity. Because ultimately, control born from fear does not offer protection. It quietly erodes your inner freedom. True power does not require certainty. It doesn't rely on endlessly rehearsed scenarios or meticulously maintained defenses. Instead, it emerges gracefully from your willingness to encounter life just as it is, with all its mystery, uncertainty, and possibility. So, what if today you simply loosened your grip, even slightly? What if today you chose courage over caution, presence over preparation, acceptance over anticipation? In this delicate shift, you may discover a profound truth you've always known but rarely embraced. You were never meant to live as a guardian imprisoned by your own vigilance. Instead, you were always intended to exist freely, deeply connected to life's innate flow, unburdened by unconscious anchors, unshackled from the subtle tyranny of imagined control. Who indeed might you become if you finally allowed life to reveal itself to you in all its uncertain beauty without your constant interference? Real control. What is it truly? For so long, I'd convinced myself that control meant vigilance, precision, carefully forecasting life's storms, quietly attempting to outsmart the inevitable chaos. Yet despite every painstaking plan, uncertainty arrives anyway, gently unraveling all I've built. I've realized this isn't failure, nor punishment, nor even misfortune. It's simply life in its natural rhythm, calmly indifferent to my frantic preparations. The truth that surfaced slowly within me is this: true control isn't clinging fiercely to the steering wheel of my life's every detail. Real control lies in the quiet strength of knowing exactly when it's time to release my grip. It's about accepting, no, embracing, the gentle ebb and flow of uncertainty, trusting that life has its own wisdom, unfolding as it must. I've spent countless moments observing this in myself, moments of tension, subtle anxiety whispering softly beneath my breath. Whenever anxiety quietly arises, I have learned not to wrestle it into submission, nor distract myself away from it. Instead, I pause. I give it space, allowing it to breathe alongside me. Within that quiet pause, I ask myself gently, yet directly, what am I actually protecting right now? This single question has illuminated truths previously unseen. Sometimes the fear isn't about losing something precious. It's simply the fear of losing my imagined control over something I've never truly controlled. Sometimes it's the subtle fear of confronting my own vulnerability, the soft but persistent discomfort of admitting that I don't, and never really have, held the reins as tightly as I believed. Control isn't protection, it's merely postponement. Postponing the reality that life is inherently unpredictable, beautifully and profoundly uncertain. And postponement, I've realized, is quiet self-sabotage in disguise. It feeds illusions, building delicate walls of false security around me, walls that crumble softly at life's first gentle breeze of unpredictability. But acceptance of uncertainty builds something far stronger, quietly resilient, something that stands gently but unwaveringly amidst life's inevitable storms. Imagine for a moment the quiet, hidden strength within acceptance. It's a strength that emerges not from anticipating every possible disaster, but from the ability to stand calmly and courageously when the unforeseen arrives. Your true power isn't embedded in your forecasts. It's in the calm presence you carry within when those forecasts inevitably fail. Consider, if you will, the profound beauty of trusting life's mystery. Imagine what it might feel like to live without the quiet burden of needing to know, needing to predict. How would your relationships, your work, your creativity shift if you ceased expending precious emotional energy on constant vigilance? If you quietly chose to welcome uncertainty, to walk gently alongside life's unplanned turns, what deeper truths about yourself might emerge? The deeper I've journeyed into acceptance, the clearer it has become that life's uncertainty isn't an enemy. It's not something to guard against or something from which to continually retreat. Rather, it's the fabric of life itself, woven gently and subtly into each experience, each relationship, each quiet moment of joy or sorrow. To resist uncertainty is to resist life itself. To accept uncertainty, to welcome it even, is to embrace life fully. Yet I understand. There's a quiet reluctance deep within us to let go, a subtle hesitation to relinquish imagined control. The ego whispers softly, persistently reminding us of past hurts, past losses, past disappointments, cautioning us against openness, vulnerability, or trust. But within this whispers the subtle sabotage, the quiet self-betrayal. Because true safety doesn't reside within fear-based control. It resides within the gentle courage of vulnerability, in the quiet acceptance of life's fluid, uncontrollable essence. In moments of subtle anxiety, I've practiced a simple yet profound exercise: conscious redirection. I pause briefly in the midst of tension and quietly redirect my awareness inward, asking with sincere curiosity, what am I truly defending against? This gentle questioning uncovers quiet truths, revealing how often the threat I'm protecting myself from isn't external at all, but rather internal fear, internal resistance to uncertainty itself. This conscious questioning gently invites me back toward clarity. It reconnects me with the truth that the only genuine control I ever possess is how I choose to respond to uncertainty, not how effectively I prevent it. Each time I engage in this quiet reflection, anxiety gradually loosens its subtle hold, replaced by a quiet clarity that feels infinitely more peaceful, infinitely more real. And so I offer to you a gentle question, a question not of judgment or demand, but a quiet invitation to self-reflection. If, starting now, you consciously chose peace instead of vigilance, clarity instead of anxiety, trust instead of fear, who might you quietly become a year from now? How might your inner landscape transform if you step gently but boldly into the uncertainty you've long resisted? This isn't an exercise of imagination alone. It's a sincere call to authenticity, a quiet challenge to confront the subtle fears that bind you. It invites you to see clearly that your power never resided in perpetual planning or in predicting every storm, but in how gracefully you navigate the inevitable arrival of life's unforeseen weather. True control emerges not from gripping tightly, but from releasing softly. It emerges when you surrender the quiet yet heavy illusion that you can steer every detail, and instead embrace life's inherent uncertainty with genuine openness and curiosity. Life in its true essence remains unpredictable. Storms will come, gentle ones, fierce ones, expected and unexpected, but your quiet strength lies in facing them, open-hearted, unguarded, calmly unwavering. It lies in knowing you do not need to fear uncertainty. Rather, you can gently trust the quiet strength already residing deep within you. So, once again, softly consider this profound question. If you consciously chose peace, clarity, and trust, what would your life look like in a year's time? What truths about yourself would quietly emerge? What subtle chains of fear might gently release their grip, freeing you to live with deeper authenticity, deeper connection, and quiet joy? Within this gentle exploration lies your true control, your true power, not to anticipate every outcome, but to move softly, gracefully, and courageously with life's uncertain rhythm. Freedom, I've come to understand, isn't about crafting a life of perfect predictability. It's something quieter, deeper. It's the strength to remain steady when the unexpected inevitably surfaces. It took me a long time to realize that the barriers I'd carefully built weren't protecting me. They were quietly reflecting back the fears I had hidden so well, holding me captive rather than sheltering me. Could it be that what we've been running from our entire lives isn't out there at all? Perhaps the persistent adversary we're endlessly trying to evade is much closer, much more personal, ourselves. It's an uncomfortable realization. It doesn't shout or demand attention, it simply waits, patient and unavoidable, beneath our conscious minds. I picture the unconscious as a hidden anchor, submerged silently within our inner depths, drawing us back repeatedly to familiar anxieties, self-defeating cycles, and imagined threats. This internal anchor isn't sinister. It's protective in nature, looping us gently back through scenarios that, though painful, feel strangely reassuring due to their familiarity. But in those rare moments of quiet courage, when I've gently loosened that hidden chain, I've felt something remarkable, a quiet shift toward openness, toward possibility. Real freedom doesn't emerge from tirelessly rearranging our external world. Stability never rises from meticulously managing every uncertainty life brings. Genuine liberation emerges softly, not through resistance or perpetual control, but through a subtle inward shift by rediscovering the quiet strength of presence. It's recognizing that your true power isn't found in accurately predicting life's storms, but rather in your capacity to stand calm and rooted when they inevitably arrive. Pause for a moment and consider. What would gently shift within you if you chose, right now, to release your grip on this illusion of control? If you stop chasing the comfort of imagined security, what quiet truth within you might finally emerge? Recognizing that safety itself may have always been a comforting illusion, one you've nurtured carefully, can feel unsettling. Yet it also carries the profound possibility of authentic freedom. Here you find yourself at a subtle yet profound intersection. Ahead lies a gentle choice. Continue holding on to familiar patterns of imagined safety, or take a quiet yet decisive step toward genuine clarity. meeting life's inherent unpredictability with open hands and a courageous heart. Are you prepared to recognize, clearly yet compassionately, that the threat you've protected yourself from has never existed beyond your own inner shadows? Reflect on a quiet turning point you've experienced, an instant when shifting your inner gaze illuminated your entire world in unexpected ways. If you feel called to, share this moment. Your personal reflection might quietly become the catalyst for someone else's awakening. If you resonate with this journey inward, consider subscribing. Treat it as your gentle commitment to deeper self-exploration, a journey toward clarity, authenticity, and the quiet strength that lies beneath all our carefully constructed defenses.